Dear football supporters around the world, players, coaches, referees, club officials, media, journalists, directors, presidents of national associations and football federations and continental confederations. Let's work together to give football back to their people and their communities. Let's bring football back to its roots. First, I would like to extend my respectful greetings to Mr. Alexander Schäferin, President of UEFA, whose leadership has played a key role in defending the interests of football and in helping the safeguard future of our game. I am a graduate in international relations and history from the Université de Sherbrooke in Canada and the University of Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, who believes that FIFA can once again become one of the most respected international institutions. I want to become the next president of FIFA, and I am seeking your strategic backing and support in order to pursue this objective. I'm here today because I believe the time has come for an independent candidacy capable of offering a political, ethical, and institutional alternative to the current model of governance in world football. As someone who does not belong to any corporate, financial, or political interest group, I possess the independence necessary to confront corruption, dismantle damaging networks of influence, reform the excessively centralized system in Zurich, and restore balance, credibility, and dignity to the global game. I do not owe allegiance or favors to any person or institution. I have no conflict of interest. The administration in Zurich has completely strayed from its essential mission, too often placing commercial and corporate interests ahead of the institutional balance that should exist among FIFA and its continental confederations. I firmly believe that a profound institutional reform is now necessary to restore credibility, transparency, and trust in the governance of football. I am convinced that one of FIFA's fundamental responsibilities is to restore, strengthen, and dignify the office of president of a member association. Over the past decades, the reputation of football governance has been weakened by repeated institutional controversies, often casting an unfair shadow over dedicated leaders who serve their football communities with honesty and commitment. The presidency of a national football association should once again be regarded as one of the most honorable positions in public sporting life, commanding the respect, trust, and moral authority that such an office deserves. My objective is to help restore the prestige, confidence, and institutional standing of this office by ensuring that every member association president, regardless of the size or political influence of their federation, is treated as a respected institutional leader and a genuine partner in shaping the world of football. I also believe that the leaders of FIFA Members Association should be provided with the institutional resources necessary to fulfill their responsibilities with professionalism, independence, and dignity. No president of a national association should ever feel compelled to rely upon discretional favor, political patronage, or the diversion of development resources in order to carry out legitimate duties of the office. Transparent rules and based institutional support strengthens integrity, reinforces independence, and enables every federation to focus entirely on serving football in its communities. My commitment is historical and ethical, not financial. Any future partnership with FIFA will be founded upon the principles of humanism, ethics, transparency, and integrity. I have chosen to reach you because I am sure that my commitment is aligned with the values of millions that share my own vision. I possess the intellectual baggage, knowledge, persuasion skills, diplomatic abilities, character, temperament, resilience, rhetoric talent, and unwavering integrity required to lead such a transformation. I was raised in a very humble but honest family with strong principles and convictions in a rural town in southern Mexico. Those early years profoundly shaped my character and instilled in me the values of service, honesty, humility, discipline, and personal responsibility. My life has also been defined by resilience and perseverance. I am an Afro-Indigenous Mexican from Tapilula, a small mountainous community in the state of Chiapas, southern Mexico, one of the most marginalized and historically neglected regions of my home country. As a young student, activist committed to social justice, I was displaced amid government repression affecting Zapatistas communities. At the age of 19, I arrived in Canada as a refugee, completely alone, without financial resources, but determined to build a new future through education and hard work. Financing my own studies while adapting to a new country demanded determination and sacrifice. Those experiences eventually led me to pursue higher education in both Canada and the United Kingdom, where I developed strong negotiation skills, a broad international perspective, and a deep appreciation for cultural diversity and international cooperation. My diplomatic abilities were further strengthened during my participation in the 2009 United Nations Model Conference at the United Nations headquarters in New York, where I contributed to the drafting of policy resolutions concerning infrastructure developments in Central Asia. My delegation was honored with a Distinguished Delegation Award. My academic background in international relations and history has enabled me to study global governance, diplomacy, institutional development, and international cooperation. A proud citizen of both Canada and Mexico, I am professionally fluent in Spanish, French, and English. Following the completion of my university studies, I returned to Mexico and served for several years, first as a rural teacher and later as a facilitator for the international humanitarian organization called Compassion International. Managing community development and self-sustainability projects designed to reduce extreme poverty and improve opportunities for vulnerable communities. Through my life, I have performed many different kinds of work. I harvest Christmas trees in the mountains in extreme cold. I work as a janitor in fast food restaurants, as a call center representative, as a sales representative, and an executive wrestle club in the Riviera Maya, as a rural teacher, as an NGO facilitator, and later as a quality control supervisor for a large multinational food supplier. Those experiences taught me to understand people from every social background. They also gave me the versatility, resilience, adaptability, and practical leadership experience. I was entrusted with supervising and managing substantial teams of employees, reinforcing my conviction that genuine leadership is built through service, responsibility, and example, rather than privilege or status. There is one chapter of my life that profoundly shaped my character and reinforced every conviction I hold today. 10 years ago, I suffered a severe stroke that left me bedridden for nearly 3 years. During that period, I had to relearn many of the most basic aspects of everyday life. What had once been routine became an enormous challenge, demanding patience, discipline, perseverance, and unwavering determination to recover. That experience fundamentally changed my understanding of leadership, adversity, and the value of every opportunity life presents. It taught me that genuine strength is not measured by physical ability or social position, but by one's capacity to endure hardship, adapt to new realities, and continue moving forward with dignity and purpose. Today, I enjoy good health, and the remaining effects are almost imperceptible. My mind is clear, my determination remains intact, and I am fully prepared for the physical, intellectual, and political demands of an international campaign and ultimately of leading FIFA through a period of profound institutional transformation. If anything, that experience strengthened my conviction that every crisis, whether personal or institutional, can become an opportunity for renewal when confronted with honesty, courage, resilience, and disciplined leadership. I do not answer to any political clique, billionaire cartel, corporate interest, or private agenda. My lifelong ambition is to contribute to the restoring the integrity, credibility, and positive image of world football. I have no business interests or political obligations that could compromise my independence. I do not own football clubs, oil wells, media companies, or large corporations. My independence is one of my greatest strengths because it allows me to make decisions guided solely by what is the best interest of football. As a president of FIFA, I will never again allow the institution to become subordinate to political interests, agendas, or influence of any government, corporation, or individual. FIFA must remain an independent institution whose decisions are guided exclusively by the legitimate needs and interests of football supporters, players, clubs, leagues, national associations and federations, and continental confederations throughout the world. My allegiance will belong neither to political power nor to commercial influence, but exclusively to football itself and to the global community it exists to serve. Throughout my life, I have occupied positions involving responsibility, authority, and the management of financial resources. I can say with modest pride that I have consistently proven myself to be uncorruptible and impossible to buy. Integrity is not for me a campaign slogan, but is a principle that has guided every important decision of my life. Power has never impressed me, nor it has never defined my sense of personal worth. I strive to live with dignity, humility, discipline, and modesty, and I have little tolerance for extravagance, excess, arrogance, and the unnecessary display of privilege. I firmly reject elitism and believe that every human must be deserved and treated equal with equal dignity and respect regardless of nationality, ethnicity, religion, gender, social status, political influence, or economical position. Whether I am speaking with a millionaire, the president of a big corporation, or a normal citizen, the same principle applies. Every person deserves to be heard with respect and treated with equal humanity. I have never believed that leadership grants superiority over others. On the contrary, I believe that leadership imposes a greater obligation to serve, to listen, to remain accountable, and to lead by personal example. Those convictions have shaped my entire life and will equally define my presidency of FIFA. At 44 years of age, I am, above all, a family man, happily married to a woman from my home community in Chiapas. She earned her law degree in Mexico and today works as a preschool educator here in Quebec, Canada. Together, we have built a modest but stable life in the small and peaceful municipality in Quebec, Canada, near to Trois-Rivières. We also are the proud parents of an 11-year-old daughter, an elite competitive swimmer at the provincial level in Quebec. Watching her grow, compete, and overcome challenges has reinforced my belief that character is built through discipline, perseverance, humility, and respect for others. My wife and I strive to lead by example. We have sought to raise our daughter with values that have guided our own lives: honesty, compassion, empathy, integrity, humility, and pride in her origins, respect for every individual, and above all, personal accountability, the ability to recognize one's mistakes, sincerely apologize, learn from them, and take immediate corrective actions. The same principles shape not only for our family, but also my understanding of leadership. I believe that lasting institutions are ultimately built upon the same foundations that sustain strong families: trust, responsibility, mutual respect, and unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when it is difficult. My strength does not lie in imposing physical stature. I am only 163 meters tall and come from an indigenous Latino background, but my strengths lie instead in intellectual discipline, strategic thinking, resilience, communication, and a lifelong commitment to understanding the complexities of international institutions. For several years, I have devoted myself to studying the strengths, challenges, and structural needs of each of football's six continental confederations. I have approached this work not as a career politician nor football executive, but as an independent researcher seeking to understand how FIFA can better serve every region of the world while preserving the institutional balance upon which global football depends. My dual Canadian Mexican identity, my education and values, my ethnic and social background are the strength and a proven weapon to unify multiple factions. My academic background in international relations, diplomacy, has allowed me to appreciate the diversity of perspectives what coexist within the world. I believe this experience enables me to serve as a bridge between Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania, and the Americas, promoting dialogue rather than division, cooperation rather than confrontation, and mutual respect rather than institutional rivalry. My objective is not to create competing blocs or political factions within FIFA. My objective is to unify every confederation and every member association around a shared vision founded upon fairness, institutional balance, transparency, sustainable development, and respect for the unique realities of each region. Should we succeed in securing the FIFA presidency, I will work to maintain Confederation's trust and support by restoring FIFA, protecting player health through a responsible international match calendar, and addressing to the growing saturation of commercial competitions that increasingly place clubs and their players under unsustainable pressure. Football possesses an extraordinary capacity to bring international recognition, national identity, peace, social cohesion, stability, education, opportunity, and development, even more when talking about fragile states and small nations. I firmly believe FIFA should become not only the world's leading football organization, but also one of the world's more respected international institutions, capable of generating a lasting humanitarian, educational, and developmental legacy for future generations. I am prepared to dedicate myself fully to that transformation. My ambition is not personal recognition, wealth, or power. My ambition is to leave behind a stronger, more transparent, more united, and more respected FIFA than the one I inherit. Together, we will develop a comprehensive program of institutional reform intended to strengthen FIFA's governance, restore public confidence, modernize its structures, and promote a more balanced and sustainable development of world football. Rather than presenting a collection of isolated proposals, I have sought to build a coherent long-term vision capable of addressing the structural challenges facing FIFA while respecting the diversity, autonomy, and legitimate interest of every confederation and member association. I have organized this program around six strategic pillars, which together form the foundations of my proposed administration: governance, competitions, development, integrity, football economy, and humanitarian legacy. Each pillar must contain institutional reforms, practical implementation strategies, and long-term objectives designed to strengthen football at every level, from grassroots developments to the governance of world premier sporting institutions. I do not claim to possess every answer. However, I firmly believe that meaningful institutional reform begins with a clear vision, principled leadership, and a willingness to work alongside experienced football administrators who share the conviction that FIFA can become stronger, more transparent, and more representative of the global football community. Leaders of football associations and federations. I do not have the backing of an international law firm, a multinational consulting company, or a powerful financial interest group, nor an established political machine. This project emerged from a decade of widespread public concern over the gradual way in which football has been driven away from its roots. Supporters, players, clubs, coaches, and respected voices across the game have repeatedly warned that football is losing its identity. Yet, too often, those warnings have produced little more than frustration, resignation, and inaction. I could no longer remain a passive observer of that decline. While many recognize that global football is facing profound institutional challenges, far fewer have been willing to dedicate themselves to design a comprehensive, coherent, and long-term vision for meaningful institutional reform. I am neither a billionaire nor a career politician. I am a middleman class professional, a husband, and a father, with just sufficient means to support my family, but without the financial resources required to build and sustain an international presidential campaign on my own. What do I possess is something far more valuable: complete political independence, a coherent long-term vision, a comprehensive program of institutional reform, and an unwavering commitment to serve football with integrity. However, I also recognize the limits of any individual effort. No one reforms an institution as complex and influential as FIFA alone. The game does not belong to any entity, it belongs to the people. Meaningful transformation requires the collective experience, wisdom, and commitment of leaders who understand the realities of international football and who share the conviction that our game deserves stronger institutions and a more balanced future. I'm not looking for followers, I'm looking for principled partners. I am looking for leaders who are prepared to help build a FIFA that serves every confederation, every national association, federation, and every football community with fairness, transparency, independence, and mutual respect. I have also mastered strategy. I think well studied from all fronts and angles, whether you want to act immediately without needing to wait for the next Congress or election. But the time to act is now. Now that their positions are unsustainable and our reasons more than justified. Should you consider this vision worthy of further discussion, I will be honored to establish contact with you, answer any questions you or your team may have, and equally important, listen carefully to your own perspectives, concerns, and recommendations. Should this initiative ultimately succeed, I will not and will not be because of one individual, but it will be because men and women for every confederation choose to place the long-term future of football above personal, political, or institutional interests. Now, as a defining initiative of my candidacy, I have developed the FIFA World Cup Legacy Framework, a permanent, geographically responsible global hosting system designed to shape the next decades of FIFA World Cups. The FIFA World Cup is the greatest sporting event on earth, yet its hosting model continues to depend on recurring bidding, often eclipsed by controversies. This results in a concentrated privilege among a limited number of member associations and requires enormous political, financial, and organizational efforts in every edition. I believe the time has come to replace uncertainty with a long-term planning, competition with cooperation, and short-lived expenditure with an enduring legacy. As a defining initiative of my candidacy, I have developed the FIFA World Cup Legacy Framework, a permanent, geographically responsible global hosting system designed to shape the next decades of FIFA World Cups. This vision brings together three fundamental reforms: a renewed supporting model prepared for the future development of international football, a permanent global network of World Club clusters enabling technically qualified regions and member associations to participate in hosting football's greatest competitions, a transparent rotational hosting framework replacing recurring bidding contests with a predictable long-term global plan. The purpose is clear: to give every technical qualified football region a genuine, foreseeable, and fair opportunity to welcome the FIFA World Cup within a generation. This framework places people at the center of the tournament. It prioritizes the health and recovery of players by reducing unnecessary travel. It protects the economy of supporters by creating a more stable and accessible tournament experience, allowing visitors to arrive, unpack, and remain based within their cities host rather than being compelled to undertake repeated and costly journeys. For host communities, this model will create deeper and more durable economic benefits. Supporters will not merely pass through a city for a single match. They will live, spend, and participate in the life of the host territory throughout the competition. The result will be a broader distribution of opportunity among local businesses, workers, and communities. The framework is founded upon the responsible use of existing infrastructure, limited unnecessary construction, and the prevention of costly white elephant projects. Investment will be guided by a calendar unknown in advance, allowing members, associations, and public authority to prepare progressively, responsibly, and with certainty. The tournament and its organization might never be eclipsed by violation of human rights or based over the loss of human lives. World Cup must bring joy to all, not only a few. This is not a distant or theoretical proposal. It has already been conceived so that its principles could begin to guide the FIFA World Cup 2030, building upon its historical organization across the Iberian Peninsula, Morocco, and South America. If you decide as the first step toward the permanent global hosting strategy. This will be a World Cup for every generation instead of asking every 4 years, who will host the next FIFA World Cup? The world we already know. It will be transparent with no place for coercion. Examples: 2038, Nordic and the Baltic World Cup cluster. 2042, Central American and Caribbean World Cup cluster. 2046, South Asia World Cup hoster. West Africa, and so on. Every member association will be able to prepare for decades. Every investment will become part of a permanent football legacy. Every qualified football region will know that within a generation it will have the opportunity to welcome the FIFA World Cup. Such a system will broaden participation, strengthen regional cooperation, reduce the influence of private lobbying surrounding host elections, and protects FIFA's greatest competitions through a process founded upon predictability, fairness, transparency, and institutional responsibility. I don't want FIFA to think only about the next World Cup. The complete technical architecture, operational methodology, and implementation framework had already been fully developed. Before leaving, I want to tell you this straight to your eyes. I believe we have reached a decisive moment for the future of world football. The growing concentration of power, the erosion of institutional balance, and the gradual loss of football's identity demand more than criticism. They demand courage, responsibility, and action. We must bring an end to this shameful spectacle into which our beautiful game is in danger of deteriorating. We cannot remain passive while its institutions continue to lose credibility and drift further away from the people's communities they were created to serve. Future generations will judge not only those who contributed to this decline, but also those who recognize what was happening and choose to do nothing. Let me be the people's candidate, the unexpected one, your paladin and champion in this crusade to reform FIFA and rescue our beautiful game. Let us work together to restore dignity, balance, integrity, and purpose to world football. Thank you for your commitment to defending the fundamental values of football and help me to widespread this message. Sincerely, Joel Ruiz Centeno.